No UFC this weekend, but that doesn't mean there isn't fights to care about. There's always going to be big MMA cards on. So I thought I'd talk about three prospects I'm pretty high on who are fighting this weekend. And I'll start with the fighter who's going to be fighting first chronologically, I do believe, and that is a prospect out of Team Alpha Male, Isaac Thompson, 21 years old. He's fighting AJ Robb, who's 6-2. Who his losses aren't bad. They are bad losses to have. He lost to Mario Batista, who's not a horrible loss. Hunter Azure is a bit of a how you doing sort of loss, but it's not horrible. Uh, but I do think Isaac Thompson's going to win this. I really do believe in Isaac Thompson. I think he's a very good prospect. Like I say, I mentioned in a prospect watch video, the fight he did lose to Darian Ramos. He was doing really good on off his back and on the feet too, and that was a really early stoppage in my opinion in that fight. He definitely could have kept fighting. He jumped right back up, and yeah, he's looked great since that fight too. He got some really big wins afterwards. He's fought good level of competition: 5-2, 6-3, 8-4. So he's not beating just like cans. He's beating good level of competition, training out of a really good camp at Team Alpha Male. Getting got all the right training partners and everything. He's built really well for the weight class, and I do think he's going to get a win here on this LFA card. Uh, so yeah, keep your eye out for Isaac Thompson if you do watch LFA 170. Now moving on to another fight you might not know about. I've always wanted to say that. So Eternal MMA has a card this weekend, and it's not going to be a shocking pick who I'm going to be talking about here, but I am going to be talking about the main event, which does feature 4-1 Quillan Salkield. Now I know people are going to say 4-1. Why are you hyping this guy up? That was his first fight. His first fight was a loss against a really, really good jiu-jitsu practitioner who was also 4-1 as an amateur, the guy who beat him. And, Quillan Salkield didn't really know anything about this guy, Pablo Torrealba, but he's like a really legit grappler, got really legit jiu-jitsu. And Quillan Salkield was winning that fight, but he tried to, beat this guy at his own game, and he ended up getting caught in a submission. But since then, really worked on his game. He's looked very improved since that fight. And like I say, he was still winning that fight. A few more, like if he made a few better decisions in that fight, I think he would have won that. But he didn't know anything about his opponent. He didn't know how good the guy's jiu-jitsu was. But it was a very, after that he went on to beat really good opponents. His bounce back fight, 2-7, not the greatest opponent, but he did beat Don Marfan, who is now 3-1, who's going to be fighting next week, who is a very good prospect in his own right. Beat 3-1 at the time, Nam Stevens, and then he beat 7-1 Blake Donnelly. He subbed Don Marfan, who is a really good, jiu-jitsu practitioner. Actually subbed Justin Van Heerden in a jiu-jitsu match, who's the featherweight champion of Eternal, who's a few wins away from probably getting into the UFC. He beat Muhammad Alavi and a few other good names, Rod Costa as well. Justin Van Heerden's a very, very good prospect in his own right, like I say. But yeah, and then KOing Nam Stevens and Blake Donnelly are very good wins as well. And he's fighting 3-1 Brett Pastor this weekend, and I think he is going to get this one done. And like I say, very good prospect. Was meant to fight on the road to UFC, but did get screwed over last minute. But I think this guy will get another opportunity in the near future. But yeah, this guy's really good. Really good sprawling abilities. Really, really good with his sprawling. That's some of the best part of his game is his sprawls. But he's a very good striker, Muay Thai background, and he's got good submissions as well. But yeah, that's all I've got to say about that one. And then the last prospect I'm going to talk about is a guy fighting on Shurikian Fight Series 16, which is he's a CKB fighter. His name's Navajo Sterling. He's a very, very good fighter, very good kickboxer. If you watch any videos with like Tyson Pedro, even I think Israel Adesanya has mentioned him a few times. If you see any of them guys, they all bring up Navajo Sterling. Very young guy, 25 years old. He's fighting at heavyweight, but I think he is much better suited for, you know, the light heavyweight division. I think that's where he will end up eventually when he does go to a major promotion. But he's fighting 15-13 Kevin Vital, you know, pro, you know, you know, a journeyman. He is a journeyman, but he has fought and beat some pretty good guys. Like he beat Roque Martinez, who was in the UFC. Like he beat Ben Sassoli. He got like a decently competitive fight with Junior Taffa, but Junior Taffa still destroyed him. But like he made it tougher than all of other Junior Taffa's other fights. Like this guy is like you know, you'll see this guy on a lot of guys' records. Been fighting since 2005. He's fought fucking the who's who at heavyweight. This guy, but I do think Navo Sterling will KO him here probably. He's tough, like I say. This guy's tough, but I do think Navo Sterling will get a good performance here. And only 1-0, that is a really good opponent if he does go out there and beat this guy. Like, obviously, I know his record's not the prettiest, but you got to realize this is Navo Sterling's second MMA fight. You know, of course he's got a really good kickboxing background and everything, but like he's not experienced in MMA, so it is really good for him to be getting this experience in his second fight against such a experienced opponent. But I do think Navo Sterling will get this one done. Like this guy, if anyone out of CKB is gonna like go on and have like success similar to like the Israel Adesanyas, the Carlos Ulbergs who aren't already in the UFC, then I think it is a Navo Sterling because they all big this guy up and he does look good in the fights I've seen. And like I say, young guy, he's going to be rapidly improving. So yeah, if you can catch his fight somehow, I wish I could tell you how. I don't even know how to watch Shuriken Fight Series 16, but still just a prospect to look out for in general is Navajo Sterling. But yeah, that's all I've got to say about that. So these are the three prospects I think you should keep your eyes out if you can catch any of these fights. The LFA and the Eternal fights will definitely be much easier to catch, obviously, because they're on Fight Pass. But if you have any way to watch Shuriken Fight Series 16, make sure you do. Because, yeah, I think Navo Sterling's got a very bright future, as do Isaac Thompson and Cullen Salkill. But, yeah, you know, Oceanic MMA is on the rise, and these guys, you know, touch wood, these guys will win this weekend. You know, these guys are on their way to big promotions for sure. So, yeah, that's all I've got to say. If you made it this far into the video, make sure you give this video a like. Let me know your thoughts if you've heard of these three prospects before. And I'll see you guys in the next video. So yeah, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it.